Hi guys, so today I'm going to teach you how to make this traditional Middle Eastern lentil soup. There are many forms of lentil soups throughout the Middle East, but this one that I'm showing you today is specific to Syria, even more specifically to Damascus, Syria. This is a lentil soup that I grew up with my aunts making. This dish in Arabic is called shorabat 3addas, which literally translates to lentil soup or soup of lentils. For this recipe, we're going to need a bag of red lentils. I just got mine at the Middle Eastern store. You're going to need some butter, onions, rice, salt and pepper, and a big pot. All right, so right now I just have some water in a very large pot. Now I am cooking for 12 people, so it is a very large pot that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and dump in this bag of lentils. I've got my heat turned on to high, and I'm just going to let that start to cook. All right, you'll see that it's starting to come to a little boil. All this kind of white foam that's coming up at the top, I'm going to skim off. And now I'm just going to let it cook. It's pretty much going to be boiling for a good 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll check on it after that time has passed. I'll show you what it's looking like right now. Giving it a good stir, making sure nothing's stuck at the bottom. All right, we're checking on our lentils now. I'll show you the difference. You see what's kind of happening here. They're starting to get softer. They're opening up a little bit. So I'm gonna give this another stir, and I'm gonna let it continue cooking on its own. All right, so now we're at a point where I think we're ready to add the rice. You can see the lentils have changed shape a bit, gotten softer. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my rice. I just have about 1.5 cups or so of short grain rice. It's just dry. I'm going to go ahead and just dump it in here. Now, it is very important that once you add the rice, that you stir it really well, or else it will stick to the bottom of your pan, and it will not incorporate well. So spend about a minute or two just mixing the rice in and incorporating it into the lentils. Okay, now I've given it a really good stir, and I'm going to let it keep on boiling. Every about 15 minutes or so, I'm going to come over and give it a stir just to make sure that nothing is sticking to the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to give it a stir. Now you're going to see that's starting to look like this now. Okay, now it's starting to stick a little bit, so I'm going to be mixing it around. You see the rice is incorporating. Very important that you mix. Do not let it stick at the bottom of the pan. So right now I'm stirring it. It is thickening up. I turned down the heat a little bit because I don't want it to burn at the bottom, but it's still going to give me a light simmer. The soup is now thickening up, as you can see. Next, I'm going to add 1/2 stick of butter. The next thing I'm going to do is chop up this onion. All right, I have chopped up the onions, kind of like in a dice, almost a dice. This is an onion and a half. And now I'm going to go ahead and saute it in some oil before I add it to the soup. So I'm going to cook up these onions now. I don't want them to burn, so be careful of that. You just want them to get a nice golden brown color. So I'm going to let that cook and check on my soup. You can see how it has thickened up. Keep stirring the bottom, guys. You really don't want it to burn or the rice to stick to the bottom of the pan. You can see what it looks like now. I have not blended this. I know a lot of people ask me if I put this in a blender and blend up the lentils. I do not. You can see that just the process of it cooking on a low heat has given it that consistency. All right, looks like my onions are about ready now. That's what they look like. Now I'm going to take my onions, place them in my soup. All right, now my onions are my soup. I'm going to mix this, incorporate all this into the soup. Look how nice and thick the soup got just on its own. All right, guys, my soup is all done. I have mixed in my sauteed onions. The soup is nice and thick. It is ready to be plated. All right, guys, here's a finished product. My soup is all done, cooked perfectly. Topped it with some pita bread. Got some lemon on the side. This soup took me about 2 hours to complete. It really turned out amazing. I hope you guys give this a try. You will not regret it. It is amazing. Very simple ingredients. Not much spices in there other than salt and pepper. But the caramelized onions really give it a nice flavor. And the soup is just so warm and comforting. And I hope you enjoy.